Hello there and welcome to another lesson in this course. In today's lesson, we are looking at the format of the OET test. In the previous lesson, we understood that the OET is meant for health professionals to assess their communication skills. And we know that communication is in two broad categories: productive and receptive. And these two form the basis of the four subtests in the OET. The subtests are listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So for receptive, you're looking at the listening and reading subtest, and for productive, you're looking at the speaking and writing subtest. The test is a simulation of real workplace tasks and communication in each profession. So for example, if you're taking the test as a nurse, especially when it comes to your speaking and writing, you would have to do something you do on a daily basis when you get to the workplace, because those two are profession specific. I mean, the speaking and then the writing are profession specific. The test uses authentic materials, so materials that you would engage with in the healthcare sector are what you would have to deal with when it comes to the OET test. So let's look at the four subtests in the test, and we try to understand what you would do for all four of them. Let's take the speaking. I mentioned a while ago that the speaking is profession specific, and you would act your profession on the day. So you act as a nurse if you're a nurse, you act as a doctor if you're one, and there are two role plays for you, and this will take place in 20 minutes. The actual role play is for 5 minutes each, so you're using 10 minutes for the role play. And there would be an OET officer, and he or she is known as the interlocutor, and he or she is going to act as a patient or the relative or carer of the patient on the day, and you, the candidate, will act your profession. The first 4 minutes is used for introduction and warm up. The 3 minutes, you're given 3 minutes each to prepare for the two role plays, and you have to make some notes at this point. Then the last 5 minutes each would be used for the actual role plays. We'll get into detail when you're looking at these subtests into detail. Then you go to the listening. There are 3 parts: part A, B, and C, and you doing this in 45 minutes, during which you answer 42 questions. Then the reading subtest also has 3 parts, A, B, and C. There are 42 test items, 42 questions, and you're doing this in 60 minutes. You would read text. You'd be given text to read to answer these questions that you have. Sorry, I forgot to mention that for the listening, you'll be listening to recordings for the 3 parts of the test to answer the questions. Then you have the writing component. The writing component. In OET, they refer to these as subtests. So you have the writing subtest, where you would be asked to write a formal letter. It could be a discharge letter, a referral letter, a letter to advice, and you have 45 minutes to do this. You're supposed to use 5 minutes for reading. You'll be given case notes. Would understand what case notes are. You'll be given case notes for you to select the relevant ones to write the letter. So you're using 5 minutes to read these case notes, select the relevant ones. Then you have 40 minutes to write the actual letter. When you register to take the test, On the day you are taking the test, you are doing all the 4 sub-tests. You will start with the listening, come to reading, then to writing. You take a break and then you come back for your speaking, which is profession specific. So it's you with the interlocutor on the day, and then once you are done, the next candidate comes and all of you would have your turns till the last person is done. So you need just a day to take the test, either on a Saturday or a Sunday. Let's look at the results and assessment. The results are published approximately 16 business days after you've taken the test. And you can access this in the portal you create to take the test. You don't have a hard copy, but you can download and print it out and use it for whatever you want to use it for. The results are reported on a scale from 0 to 500 in 10-point increments. So you have 500, then 490, then 480, 470, till the very last one, which is 0. And these points are interpreted by a letter that is from A to E. To be able to register with most governing boards and council, you need to get B in the speaking, listening, and reading, and C+ in the writing. For most of the governing boards, this is what they require you to have. The writing and speaking, how are they assessed? The script and audio files are assessed by 2 trained OET assessors. It's only in the case of candidates coming back for a remark that a 3rd OET assessor is engaged to look at either the script or the audio files. The parts A of the listening and reading subtest are also marked by at least 2 OET assessors. And then the parts B and C are computer scanned. The parts B and C are computer scanned. Very often, candidates are able to remark their writing and speaking subtests because these are very subjective, although the assessment criteria. But then for the listening and reading part, is quite difficult to have a change in your scores when you go for a remark. Thanks, and see you in the next lesson. Have a great day.